If you think about business as a game, it all starts with the rules, and credit application is basically your rules. Everything that happens in the account happens in the four corners of that document. If it's not in there, it's really hard for your attorney to be able to do anything with it. If things go wrong, and I'm not saying they will, but if they do, that's what you're going to go back to. So it's the first step in anything you do with an account. It's the first step in getting an account open. It's the first step in even getting them set up in your system to be able to sell them something, whether it's to send services out there or send products. Regardless of if you are opening somebody for a line of credit or setting them up as a COD or cash on delivery or cash in advance, some accounts you want cash in advance. However, you still have to set them up in your system. You still need a legal name. You still need some information about them. So you might have two different forms you're using, the actual credit application for them to apply, and there's also that COD form where you capture the basic information that you can put in there. Because at some point, that customer may want to flip to an account that has open credit, or they may pass maybe an NSF check, or there might be something goes out with, in a perfect world, nothing bad would ever happen. But if something goes out without getting paid for, you've got to have something in there other than Fred Smith got this. Information is always better up front. People will tell you anything before and when they want something from you, not so much afterwards. So as you're moving forward, getting all of that, hey, we want to get you set up correctly. Let me make sure I have all this because I want to make sure I've got your tax information. We want to make sure that everything is set up well for you so that as you're getting your invoices, as you're talking to that customer, you're telling them why this is good for them. Plus, it spells out the rules for both sides. It's not just a one-sided document. You want to know as a customer what you can expect from me and my company, and vice versa. So when you're talking to your customer about this or your potential customer, you want them to feel very comfortable that, hey, we wrote this to be a fair document for both sides. You get more communication that way. You're able to go back to your customer and say, listen, here's everything that's happening. If you have a question with this, let's talk through it. Now, when we talk about that, you have to be prepared. You need to know your credit application. You need to know what it says. And we're going to get into some more of that. When you're talking about payment to your company and how someone purchases from you, there are several different avenues they can take. COD, where either they get a check or payment form, traditionally it's check, but we're seeing more and more on electronics, ACH, payment portals. They either pay up front, which is cash in advance, COD, when the work is performed or when the delivery happens, or on an open line of credit, which is kind of the basis for why we're going through the whole credit app. It's part of that decision-making process. Somebody may want credit from you, you may not want to give it to them in the form they're asking. What I want you to remember when you're first looking at giving somebody open credit, when they say, hey, I've got a customer, say a salesman comes to you and I've got this customer, I've got the credit app filled out. First thing you want to do is look it over. Because understand, this is a legally binding document. So don't be one of those people that trashes up their credit application by putting, here's how much credit they requested, there's a little for the office only at the bottom. Nobody cares about that. And remember, this document, say this is your credit application, and you've got it in front of a judge, they don't want to see all your hieroglyphics all over it. And there are some things that can work against you when you do that. We'll get into those a little bit later, but basically this credit application defines it. So a couple things when you first take the credit application on. Understand that it's a legally binding document. I think I've stressed that plenty of times for you. Understand that you're looking for data on this company. So what their legal name is, any DBAs, you're looking for ownership. You're looking for, if there's social security numbers, you're looking for bank account numbers, all of the things that are on here that are going to help move this forward. You want to make sure that it's in English. That's a big step. You want to make sure that it's legible. So if you can get your credit application online and have it PDF fillable, it's a lot easier to read. There's nothing worse than getting a credit application back that somebody filled out on the front of their Ford F-150 in a crayon or a Sharpie, and you can't read it. So you want to make sure that it's something that you can actually read. Sounds like it shouldn't be that big a deal, but it actually is.
This is just a small taste of a much larger class. You can take the full class for free at levelset.com. Join me.